My 30F fiancé's 30M family is trying to break us up because I refuse to have anything to do with his alcoholic twin brother. Ever since I met my fiancé's twin brother, he's been hostile and rude, and made it very clear that I was not welcome in his family. My fiancé told me that this has been a pattern with any girl he dates. After just a few months, my fiancé's twin got into an argument with his live-in girlfriend at the time, who was in the process of dumping him, became very drunk, went out alone, and got arrested for beating up two random women. One of the women has been maimed for life. Apparently, this was not the first time the twin had attacked women and been arrested for it, but it was the first time he got in serious trouble. He has had a history of drinking and violence problems, going all the way back to freshman year of college. He always says he will stop drinking, then he starts again, and hurts another woman. My fiancé's mother proceeded to concoct a plan to somehow convince her parents, my fiancé's grandparents, to foot the twins' bill for a very expensive defense attorney. Meanwhile, while all of this was happening, my fiancé's twin was still making it clear I wasn't welcome at family functions. His excuses before the incident were that I was too new and he barely knew me. Now his excuses were that he didn't want to discuss the details of his case in my presence, details which were still a mystery to me. At the same time, he was texting my fiancé to tell him not to even consider marrying me, or having a baby with me someday, or to move in with me. When my fiancé first visited my family out of state, his twin texted him to say, "Let me know if you witness cousin effing in her house," with a laughing emoji. I'm from the South. He said nothing else, and defended himself when my fiancé told him that wasn't cool. Eventually, I learned everything about what really happened when his twin was arrested. I also learned that their mother punched her own sister in the face years ago, and didn't speak to her for 5 years, because she was mad that her sister knew their sons, the twin and a cousin, were smoking weed. There seems to be a pattern of their mother enabling my fiancé's twin. My fiancé didn't see a problem with inviting his twin to our new apartment. I became so upset, I told my fiancé, who was still my boyfriend at the time, that we needed couples therapy or I wasn't sure I could continue this relationship. My fiancé revealed that his twin secretly remembered beating up the women, and the many witnesses who reported it. He remembered being upset that his girlfriend wouldn't sleep with him anymore, and he hated being short and felt like a weak man. My fiancé and I went to couples therapy, and the therapist said she suspected his twin suffers from a personality disorder like borderline personality disorder. My fiancé and I worked things out, and moved on with our lives, on one condition: I would never be expected or forced to spend time around his dangerous twin again, and he would not be invited to our home. My fiancé was free to see him outside our home and away from me. For a little while, my fiancé still saw his brother. But then he came home after one visit, shook his head, and said, "I told my brother he would have to be nice to you and he wasn't receptive. I don't think he will ever change." He also told me a story from their visit that day about how his twin called a random woman jogging past them chubby, and when my fiancé said that wasn't cool and she probably heard them because she looked back with a shocked expression, my fiancé's twin said angrily, "If she wants to fight me, she can." All of this information just furthered my opinion that my fiancé's twin is dangerous. He doesn't like women, and he especially doesn't like me. I began having nightmares of him hurting me. A few times per year, whenever my fiancé's mother and grandmother visit from out of town, it's expected that we all get together for meals. At first, when my fiancé told them I felt uncomfortable around his twin, they came to see us alone at our apartment. It was a little awkward, and at the end of the visit, his mother became teary-eyed, which I suspected was an act, and told me I needed to forgive her other son. I'm not good at confrontation, so I just awkwardly changed the subject and thanked them for coming, and they left. The next day, my fiancé joined his family, including his twin, for dinner, without me. I was fine with this, but when he came home, he told me they'd gotten into a screaming match at the restaurant because his mother and grandmother expressed displeasure in my refusal to be around his twin, and my fiancé defended me and said it was his twin's fault. His twin refused to take accountability or apologize, and they began screaming at each other so much, it's a wonder they weren't kicked out. They were seated outside luckily. This past weekend, his mother and grandmother visited the city again, originally planning to see us for brunch on Friday and the twin for dinner. In the months leading up to their visit, we tried to prep them gently. We asked them not to bring up his twin because it is triggering and we are tired of discussing it. We would like a visit where we can just spend time and bond together on our own. My fiancé's mother accepted this at first, but then she called my fiancé out of the blue one day when she knew he was off work and I was at the office. She dialed his grandma in, and then hounded him to discuss the issues surrounding his twin. My fiancé said they're not considering his feelings or mine, and his mother said she refuses to see us without his twin present, so my fiancé hung up on her. When they came to our city, they didn't visit us. Later, When my fiancé met with his grandpa, he was told that his twin brought along a new my fiancé previously hooked up with, who his twin had met because they all hung out together. My fiancé and I were upset by this and complained to his grandma via text, who called us. When I told her about my concerns surrounding his twin's dangerous behavior, she said, "Nobody is perfect." Later that evening, my fiancé's mother and stepfather texted him separately one at a time to say, "We love you, and your family is always here for you." When my fiancé said, "I need you to accept my feelings and my fiancé's feelings," all his stepfather said was, "And I love your twin." His mother went on a barrage of angry texts, all implying to my fiancé that it seems like someone is in your ear and I have your best interest at heart and your family is always here for you. Whenever my fiancé mentioned my name, his mother said, "I'm talking to you." My fiancé reminded her that, although I want nothing to do with his twin, my fiancé will be open to having a relationship someday when his twin apologizes to him for his treatment of me. He also reminded her that she and her sister spent time with their mother separately from one another during their argument, and she replied, "This is a more insidious situation. Our spouses weren't trash-talking us to each other." My fiancé says his mother is just offended that I claim her son is dangerous. "It has been made clear to us now that his family does not want us to be together because I don't want anything to do with his alcoholic twin brother. They refuse to have a relationship with me if I refuse to have a relationship with the twin. How should I proceed? TLDR, my fiancé's family is trying to break us up because I refuse to have anything to do with his alcoholic twin brother. How do we fix this? If this isn't rage bait, then leave. This whole family is deranged, including your FH. He should be supporting you, but his spine is made out of overcooked pasta.